I want to share another fascinating idea about mezuzah. The Torah, which is a major halachic work that predates the Code of Jewish Law by a couple hundred years, he writes that not only is the keeping of the mezuzah come with the promise of long life, but greater than that, it protects your home. Well, the obvious question is, what do you mean it's greater than that it protects your home? How is it greater that it protects your home than long life? Long life is greater than protecting the home. So the Bet Yosef, who wrote a commentary on the Torah and then codified a Shulchan Aruch himself, he says that what it means is as follows. The fact that you will have long life, that's not something that you can prove. But the fact that it protects your home, that's obvious. That becomes clear. That the mezuzah is protecting your home. Because you see others who being affected negatively, and you, because of mezuzah, only have positivity. There stories abound about problems in mezuzahs, and then you see there was a problem very much associated with the issue that was, so if it says eyes, it might be an eye issue. If it says your arm, it might be an arm issue. And my sister had an issue with one of her kids. Literally, the arm became, was not functioning. And they checked the mezuzah and the word ayadecha, your arm, was problematic. They fixed it and everything became good again. It was remarkable. We had a story when my kids were young. My eldest hit his eye on the corner of a table, of a little coffee table. My second child, which was a baby, actually fell through his crib. And we opened up my wife opened the mezuzahs, and she saw that an insect bore a hole through two words, your eye and while you lie down. So these stories abound. There are probably hundreds of thousands of stories of this nature. So what's the mezuzah? The mezuzah has a fascinating character to it. You see, most of the mitzvahs, God gives us the mitzvah, so we should do things that He wants achieved. The mezuzah is God telling us, here, this I'm giving you this for protection. The mezuzah, it's not a protection of the mezuzah is not a reward for it. It's what it's all about in the first place. There's a story in the Talmud that Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the one who wrote the Mishnah, he had a friend called Artavan. He was a Persian prince of some sort. Anyway, he sent him a pearl. And he says, I want you to send me something back that's valuable, just like this pearl is uniquely valuable. And the Rabbeinu HaKadosh sent him a mezuzah. He says, what are you sending me? Something worth a coin? I sent you something that has incredible value. You send me something that's worth a coin. So Rabbeinu HaKadosh said to him, no, you sent me something that I have to look after. I sent you something that's going to look after you. Then it's mentioned that this fellow had one only daughter, and that daughter went mental, and no doctor could help her. So he remembered the mezuzah, he put it up, and the daughter was healed. So it's fascinating. Here's a non-Jew using the mezuzah, healed his daughter, but there's no mitzvah for a non-Jew to have a mezuzah. So what that means to say is that the mezuzah itself is a matter of protection. And that's why the Rebbe shows how there's a discussion in the Talmud. If you put mezuzah there were people who had a staff, and in the staff they had a place to put the mezuzah. Why would you have a place to put a mezuzah in a staff? If you put it on your door, it's not okay. It's not kosher. So you see, the people actually went around with the mezuzah for protection. It's known that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe had a mezuzah on his desk. And the Rebbe actually suggested to some people, there was a guy who was in hospital and he couldn't sleep. The Rebbe told him to have a mezuzah, not on the door, but in his cupboard, in his drawer, near where he was lying. Because the mezuzah itself is something to do with protection. That's what the character of mezuzah is. We need protection. It's the greatest protection there is. There's a great story. during COVID, expats left China. There's a shliach in Jiangdu, and he also left, as well as many in the community. When he came back, after going through quarantine, etc., the police chief says to him, well, they cleaned out many of the expats' homes here in Jiangdu. They lived in, in a place that many of the expats lived, and thieves went and cleaned out those houses. But they didn't touch your house. And we want to know why. So when we caught the thieves, the first question we asked them is, why didn't you touch the rabbi's home? And he said the way they were able to steal from all the homes, they all had alarm systems. When we learned how to hack into those systems through the Wi-Fi, we were able to hack into the alarm systems and thereby get into the house without anyone knowing. When it came to the rabbi's house, there was this alarm system that we couldn't hack into. So we weren't able to get in, so we couldn't stop the alarm, so we didn't go. So what are you talking about? So he shows a picture of the mezuzahs in front of the door. So now the police chief is asking, this must be some Israeli invention. They're very smart in these ways. It must be some Israeli invention that is an alarm system that they couldn't figure out how to hack into. So tell us the secret. Of course, it's the mezuzah. That's the God's invention of a protection for our homes. So make sure to put it up on every door of your home. It's better than any alarm system.